share a few tips with you as to how to build your profile. Let me repeat that before we move forward, it is important for everyone to understand that it is just not about creating a fantastic, brilliant application full of activities, but it is important to keep your grades high because it is the transcripts that is going to get the first preview before anything else, right? Now, having said that, just a minute, please. Oh, okay. So before I move forward, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And today, the first tip that we're going to start with is how do I build my resume, right? Now, when we talk about resume and going through of navigating your entire profile, resume building is very, very important. The reason why it is important is because that is the backbone and that is the blueprint of your entire application. This is the place where you are going to be demonstrating and talking about your strong skills as well as your knowledge, right? Make sure that your resume is very brief, to the point, and it should match with the student's cohort at the university that you are applying to. The second part is, of course, your school activities. A lot of students come up to me and say that, you know what, Niharika ma'am, my school does not offer any activities, or if they do offer activities, there's nothing happening in it, which I don't think is very true, but still, it is important to understand that your letters of recommendations are going to come from school, and your school teachers and your school counselor is going to write about your participation, your contribution to the school. So contribution, significant impact to your school is a big plus plus. Do not disregard participation in school as not important, because anything that you do within the school, for instance, let's take on some leadership position in the school, or you could be a part of sports, or you could be helping in art exhibitions or events, or organizing talks, or maybe participating in inter-school competitions in terms of sciences, quiz, debating. All this is important. So just make sure that you have made a significant impact in your school. Your school comes first. And be and participate in those activities which demonstrates your strong interest, your background. So just don't participate in activities for the heck of doing that, because everything that you do is like adding brownie points to your resume. The third part, which I'm going to be talking today, is about being a part of a community with like-minded individuals or people. Now, when we talk about like-minded, for instance, taking that initiative, creating a group of students who could be maybe passionate about research or maybe passionate about music, and showing your space within that community. Community of like-minded individuals are participating in organizing events or are enhancing their knowledge together. Community work is very, very important. So I suggest that every student who is out there should be involved in some kind of a community bonding, which demonstrates how well you also work in a team, how well you're able to communicate and demonstrate your strengths within a small set of students. So community is absolutely important. For example, let me give you an example. Commerce students, they get together, right? We all have similar interests. We get together, we organize talks from eminent industrialists or professionals. We have regular sessions about emerging areas in the field of business and maybe discuss ideas of startups. So building a community of like-minded individuals and talking about it in your application is important. Now, coming to the next tip, when we talk about social service or community service, a lot of students come up to me and say, you know what, Niharika ma'am, I heard that social service is very important and I need to do social service. Let me explain something. The social service is not about going and teaching math and English at an NGO. It's incorrect. Social service is also showing a longer duration. It shows a longer duration of participation in your activity. For instance, a place where you have spent considerable time and has created a difference. Could be in an animal shelter, helping animals, or working consciously and diligently with women and children for a longer duration. A longer duration or a participation which is having a strong impact. Choose an area. You could be passionate about anything. You could be passionate about the environment. You could be passionate about cleanliness. It could be anything that you are a topic or a subject which is close to your heart. Take some time and work on it for a longer duration to see it actually having that impact, the contribution or the effort or the time that you spent on it. You can see the benefits. So this is very important. So social work and community service is just not about going and spending 2 weeks at an NGO and thinking that you have done your bit. If you write something like this in your application, the universities are not interested. I would suggest don't even write about it because it's not significant, right? Social work and community service, being a part of the community, contributing to a community, making a significant difference, reaping the benefits of your effort, hard work, seeing an impact is what we are looking for as a social or a community contribution, right? The next thing that I would like to talk about is your personal activities, your hobbies or your interests. Now, as you know, that the universities are always looking at students who are multifaceted and are unique. We don't want kids who are strong, academically, great, wonderful, because that is the first thing that they're looking at. But they also want students who can contribute to the student community at the university, who can also it could be in the form of talents, like in the sense you could be a great musician or a dancer, or maybe a dancer, musician, an artist, anything. You could be a strong debater, a quizzer. So every student has some uniqueness. Tap on that uniqueness. Focus on that uniqueness. It's like a hobby. I love reading. Reading is my passion. Wonderful. Take that reading forward. I wrote blogs, I wrote articles for the school magazine, and I'm maybe doing book reviews and things like that. So every student is unique and every student is different. Take advantage, look into what you're good at, and contribute or work on it. So everything, I had a parent, or I mean, I got so many experiences when the parent comes to me and says, you know what, my child is brilliant in music or is an instrumentalist, but you know what? He's not a sports person, and I'm trying desperately that he should learn at least one sport and be a part of the school team. That's not required. It's not important. We're not talking about quantity here. We're talking about quality. If I am interested in music, I should let the university know that that is my uniqueness. I don't want to be a jack of all trades and master of none. So look at what your child is good at. What are the hobbies? What is his areas of interest, and build upon it. I mean, you can advance your interests and go to various levels, and actually showing the university that you are multifaceted with diverse interests. Then that's like adding maybe icing to your cake. Remember, the activities do not compensate for your transcripts. What I'm talking about here are different activities that you can look into while enhancing your profile. It does not mean that you have to do a tick on each and every activity that I am talking about. The next thing is, of course, competitions. Now, competitions can be on an individual level, and it can be in a group, right? For instance, you could be participating in national level competitions, international level competitions. When we talk about national level competitions, you can look at science Olympiads, and international competitions, you can look at IMO, International Math Olympiad, or Science Olympiads, ACID. There are many more competitions that you can think about participating in. So what does a competition do? I mean, what is so unique about the competitions? It basically demonstrates the students' level of knowledge and skill in a larger space, like national, international. So winning a place, an award, or a recognition makes the student stand out from the rest of the peer group. It also shows his capability to take up challenges and work towards a result. It adds credibility to the student's profile. So look at even inter-school competitions. It doesn't have to be larger than life. Look at inter-school competitions where he's participated. I'm sure your school would be, involved in all these kind of competitions. That should be your first bid. Look into it. Try to get some kind of a positioning. Participation is very good. Participation shows that you have taken that initiative to compete, but also work hard to get some kind of a ranking in it, because that is what will also make a major difference. Essay writing competitions, there are many more competitions. So if anyone wants any information on the list of the competitions, they can always get in touch with me, and I will be more than happy to help you. But yes, I personally believe that everyone should be involved or should participate in at least 2 competitions in your resume. The next is course certification. Now, when I talk about the course certification, COVID did something really different. It made us go online. And I think somewhere or the other, that was really great, because before that too, we did have online classes and courses, but I think it took another level when we had COVID. So when I talk about course certification, I'm talking about those courses which the student is interested to learn, but is not part of their school curriculum, right? For instance, let me say Like the school cannot teach you or provide you with every opportunity. Uh, so students look outside the school curriculum on maybe trending topics and want to explore the latest developments in their field. Online courses is a good way to move forward. How? I mean, I could be interested in finance, but my school is not teaching me anything on virtual currency. I want to learn more about Bitcoin. I want to learn more about financial markets, read more about it because I am thinking about wanting to study finance. Perfect. This is the time for you to really read a lot about it. So the online courses or online certifications also gives you shorter times, like 8 hours or 18 hours, which is a good reading material for you. If you do not want to enroll into long duration courses like 8 months or 10 months, you can take these short courses. And these short courses are very interesting because I remember one time, a mom and daughter came to my place, and I was talking to the student about doing some online courses in psychology. And we were just going through all the reading materials in psychology, books that she could read, and even some YouTubes that she could watch, podcasters that she could watch. Then over and above that, I talked to her, about a short course like um, why does a brain get addicted? We talked about positive psychology. And the mother was sitting there and she got really interested. And she said, wow, I would also like to learn more about this. So both mom and daughter enrolled for the classes. And it was fantastic because this was like a mom and daughter bonding time. And they discussed about the course, their reading, and their understanding of the entire session. So this is a good way, where parents, can be involved also with their children and go through these courses and have a topic of discussions and debates with them. It's a good bonding time. So taking initiative for advanced reading and learning will definitely help you in your resume. And but I know there are times when it doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money on certifications. So if you can get some free learning and you can apply just for an online course or which is free, that would also work. But whenever you do that, make some notes of your understanding of that entire course. And you can share that with your school counselor, and you can use that in your class interactions too, which will help you to get a good letter of recommendation from your teacher. The next thing is summer school. Now, I do understand that summer schools can be really expensive, and it's quite a debatable topic among parents that is summer school the right way to move forward. So, in my opinion, if you can go for a summer school, that's a wonderful experience. It's an experience because it's the time when the child moves out of the cocoon first time. It's a perfect transition to be able to understand how it is to live on their own, number one. Number two, experience a college education, how a course is taught at the university by a professor. And also it's a wonderful time when it's a place where you can actually network with like-minded people and expand your social network. It's also a place where you understand different cultures and engage with students coming from various backgrounds. It's a beautiful place to network, yes, for sure. So going for a summer school in your application also demonstrates initiative, a willingness to learn, and the ability to manage time and prioritize tasks. This is very, very important for students who are also going for competitive programs as well as scholarships. Now, for instance, let's talk also about a science student. You know, a science student can attend a summer school and he can enhance his learning beyond the classroom by actually focusing on maybe a new technology, something which is not being taught in class. So summer school can be, you can attend a summer school in India, or you can attend a summer school overseas. It all depends upon the time you want to spend on it, the duration, as well as it is based on your budget. But I suggest that if you want to do a summer school, do it straight after. The best time to do a summer school would be after grade 10, or maybe, yeah, I would say before you enter grade 12, because grade 12 can be quite hectic. So a summer school going for in grade 11 is a very good idea. I hope everyone's understanding what I'm saying. I don't want it to sound like a monologue. At the end of the session, we will be having a Q&A. But before I do that, I would just like you all to understand what are the different areas, the profile building tips, which I'm providing right now, that can be useful to you as we move on to the next session. When we move on to the next session of Q&A, that's the time you can ask me your queries. The next thing which I would talk about is workshops, you know. So attending workshops in your areas of interest is also important, because again, it is a time when you can enhance your knowledge and skills. Workshops can be for 2 days, it can be for 3 days, it can be for 5 days. You know, students attend workshops in artificial intelligence, machine learning, basic level, intermediate level, advanced level, going in for robotic workshops, scientific workshops, working with IIT. Now there's so many more opportunities out there. I think it's such a wonderful world, you know, for you to really go on availing of education opportunity outside your classroom. And I think that yeah, this age is like teaching students so much gives the students so much to learn. Now it is just up to you as to what you want to inculcate and what you want to absorb and how you want to take this forward. So coming back to the workshop, so coming back to the workshop, like the workshops could be in the areas of, you know, a short workshop on a particular topic in psychology or research in psychology. A workshop could be while working with maybe a doctor or a healthcare in the hospital, or it could be with a software engineer. Anything. Workshop is usually shorter in duration. It's not that long as compared to a course curriculum. And also, I think what a workshop does is it also helps you to develop some important new skills, which is directly in relation to your interest of study. And it also demonstrates your academic readiness. Workshop. It also shows your deep desire to learn and expand your knowledge beyond your classroom exercises. So if you get a chance to work on a workshop or attend a workshop, I think that's also a great way for you to move forward. The next thing which I would like to talk about is research. Just a minute, please. So the next thing which we are going to talk about, research and projects. I would really want to ask everyone here, so if I can get the slide out, that how many of you all have got this thing about wanting to work on research and projects, something which is happening now for the past few years, I would say just during the time of COVID, till now. I mean, working on research, working on projects. I do understand that IB students are already working on these projects as a part of their extended essay. But for the CBSE students and the ISC students, they do not get that kind of an exposure and experience in research and projects. So how many of you all are actually working on it here? Okay, we'll go on to that later on. Let me explain the importance of research and projects. When we talk about research, what are we doing? We are basically understanding our topic, one section of a topic in more detail and depth, right? So research is a very important thing, or I think research or doing a project is important because that is exactly what you all will be doing when you move overseas and attend school. Research also helps you to, different types of research. You do not have to go into publications. But before that, I do understand that research requires a lot of your time. It requires a lot of your effort. It requires analysis. You need to draw conclusions. You have to make your infographics, But yes, research and working on projects is also putting a cherry on your cake. If you can get it published, fine. If you cannot get it published, it is okay. But the fact that you have worked on a research or maybe got your paper graded by your class teacher, as well as written an abstract in your application, that's good to go. We don't expect high school students to go into major publications. But the fact that you know how to do a research is also good enough. For instance, I'll just give you a topic for research. It could be as simple as the effects of deforestation in climate change. Could be the importance of sleep or the benefits of your daily exercise and how junk food affects your brain. Or you talk about addictions. You can talk about national issues, local issues, global issues, something which is of importance to you. So whenever you choose a research topic or a project, try to have a meaning to it. Why are you choosing this project? Why is it important to you? There has to be that connection. Additionally, you can choose an academic research project, which is directly linked to your area of interest to study. So you have an area of interest, academic interest, maybe a course that you are applying to at the university. Yeah, so I would suggest that maybe you can choose a topic which is very close to your area of interest to study. Yeah. EdNet also has an EdNet research. EdNet it's called ERIL, EdNet Research Initiative for Advanced Learning. This is where they actually help and assist the students to prepare a project, a research article, or a paper, and on various areas. So it basically helps and supports the student on the processes. Can you just remove the screen, please? Thank you. So it actually helps the students on their research projects and discuss ideas and topics as to what would be best for them considering their area of interest. Now, having said that, we go on to the next one, which is internships. Now, as you all know, that internship is something that is of value when it comes to building your profile. A lot of schools are encouraging students to go in for internships straight after class 10. And I also understand that, that many companies do not want 16-year-old or 17-year-old to come in as an intern. They're too young. College students are fine, but 16, 17-year-old high school students could be a bit distracted for them. But it's not about internship. It's about observership. So if you go for internship for 2 weeks, no company is actually going to spend time in training you for a responsibility. But what you can do is observe as to how that industry moves forward. How is the industry working? Suppose I want to be a lawyer. And I have this, I've been watching a lot of Netflix and I've seen a lot of these, law episodes, and kind of interests me. Fantastic. But before you go into making important decisions about your future career, I think it's important for you to do an internship. You need to understand as to what is the kind of environment that the place provides, the nature of work of the industry. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't like it. Maybe it was your imagination or a fantasy of working in a law firm and being a top eminent lawyer or a doctor or anything. It is very, very important for you to get that exposure or that experience of the real world and see how it works. And not only that, how that particular industry of your interests functions for you to make that important decision, whether that is what you really want to do. And even that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, even if you are given a very small role, a very small designation, it does not matter. Having an internship and doing as much as you can at your workplace will really help you to decide also, as will give you a first taste of professionalism, but will also help you to decide about your future goals, right? So even if you're not given an important responsibility, it does not matter. Even if you have to go and get coffee, it does not matter. As long as you're around, you're interacting with people in that organization and learning. That's important. Having said that, I will move on to the next profile. Yeah, so in this time, I'm going to go on to the next profile, and that is something which is very, very unique. Did you all notice that in your college applications, the universities are asking you for your social media account? If you have a social media account, So the question is, why do colleges look at social media accounts of applicants? Why? It's because maybe they want to see what is this kid all about? What matters to this child and why? What is of importance? How does she or he conduct themselves? So having said this, when you Google your name, what is the first thing that comes up? Did you know that in 2016, the Kaplan Prep survey of more than 350 universities in the US, it was seen that 35% of the admission officers were looking at your social media account. Now, don't get scared. I know everyone will be fretting, oh my God, they will only look into your social media account if you want them to look at your social media account, right? They're asking about it. So what do? You Google your name and see what comes up. So first thing you do is everyone should create their own LinkedIn account. And the minute you will create your LinkedIn account, your name will come up in Google. Be careful of what you post. The time of your application, just make sure that you're a bit conservative and less expressive, because your social media post will talk about who you really are. Do not post anything that contradicts with your resume. For instance, let's say I believe in waste management or on environmental issues, plastics, recycling, cutting of trees, are topics which are very close to my heart. And then in my Instagram, I could be showing something which is very contradictory to what I've written in my resume. We don't want that, right? So in my opinion, do not post anything which contradicts your resume. You must highlight your strengths and your achievements. Highlight your strengths and achievements, your learning, your work experience, what you like to do. You want to take a selfie? Wonderful. Take a selfie of you reading one of your favorite books. A lot of, just hold on. A lot of, maybe take a selfie of you in a couch reading a book, or maybe you playing a game of table tennis, or maybe badminton, or maybe anything which you are absolutely passionate about, right? This is also a place where you can show your visuals. You know, if you're doing social work, community service, or you're involved in any other kind of activity, take pictures and put it up. Take videos and put it up in your Instagram, right? Also, keep your private life as separate, at least during this time of your college applications. You know, I mean, post things which is important to you, which is relevant to you, because there's a point there. What matters to you the most and why, right? Before submitting your application, check on how you look on social media and what is the kind of message that you are giving out there about yourself. So yes, if you want the university to have a peak review of yourself through social media, then you have to be very careful about how to go about the entire thing, right? My next thing is that to highlight, to conclude, I just want to say 3 very important points. First, you need to be involved in activities which is directly related to you, your background and your interest. Understand how these activities have impacted you. It is not about the number of activities that you do or you're involved in, but the quality of impactful work that you have done. You need to show that you are unique, multifaceted, curious, and desire of knowledge to create that impact. How did I use my curiosity and my enhanced knowledge to make that difference? So the whole thing is about contribution, significant contributions, and about how you're making an impact, both in your personal life as well as in your personal life, as well as in your school. Keep these three areas in your mind. Don't go crazy. You know, there are a lot of times when students come to me with a long list of activities and tell me that, you know what, Niharika ma'am, you're just telling us to do 4 of the activities, but look at my friends. They have been advised to do these 20 activities. And I look at it and I say, that is not required. This doesn't even sink in with who you are. It's not the number of activities that you need to engage in. It is the number, the quality of activities which has made that difference. So keep that in mind. Everything that you do has to be related with who you are, what your interest is, what your background is. It's like creating a piece of art, I would say, a picture about yourself. So any puzzle, any piece of that artwork that doesn't fit in with your profile will stand out. It will be like a sore thumb. So don't do that. Just make sure that whatever you're doing is something that you enjoy, something that you want to, something which is totally in sync with what you want to apply for, right? I just want to also, before we move into the Q&A section, most of the students here are also mine. I just want to say that EdNet has been counseling students for over 20 years. And in these 20 years, we've had some amazing experiences. We have to keep evolving ourselves. We have to keep learning constantly and being with the times. But what EdNet has is experience with dealing with students and experience in dealing with parents and making them understand that everything stands the same. You just have to look at your child and see what is his strength, what is so unique about this kid, and how can I project this kid to the university in that light. Keep that in mind. At EdNet, we have this huge legacy of expert guidance and successes, both at the undergraduate as well as the masters. You know, our students have received admission offers from top reputed universities, right from MIT to Cornell to Brown to UBC, NYU, Babson. I mean, I can go on and on and on, because there's 20 years of experience with thousands and thousands of applications. But at the same time, we have to keep looking and understanding as to what to do better, how to do better. How can we make this application much more stronger? Because I personally, as a member of IEC, International ACAC, as well as NACAC, understand the changing needs also of the university. I got 1,000 students application, I'm just saying hypothetically, and I have to choose 5 students. How am I going to choose that 5 students? Yes, academic is very important. How I have challenged myself intellectually is very important, because you have to be a successor in a classroom. You have to pass the exam and cope up with the rigorous curriculum. But over and above that, what have I done? How have I enhanced myself? Who am I? And how will I make that important contribution to the university or the student cohort of that university? Because everyone is going to be like you, like-minded individuals coming in from different backgrounds, cultures, countries, all sitting together at the university, but having the same kind of a mindset. So that is very, very important. And the next thing that I would like to talk about is, what does just a conclusion on this. Why choose EdNet? EdNet is an end-to-end education consultancy. We do provide tailor-made counseling. So as I said, not one shoe fits all. So every student's profile has to be very, very specific to that student's needs. So profile building services to students' needs, course and university selection. Now, having traveled to more than 400 universities all over the world, I do have a little understanding as to whether this school could be a good fit for my student or not. So everything does not depend upon ranking. There's so many other factors that need to be taken into consideration while selecting your university. Then there's the application processing and management. So when we're talking about processing, application processing can be a little complex, and you just want to make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever information you're filling in is correct and is impressive. Assisting in scholarship applications, assisting in interviews, and providing them the guidance as to how to prepare for the interviews. Visa assistance. So basically it's end-to-end, door-to-door. So we provide guidance at every step to get you admitted to the course and the university of your choice. Having said that, if I can remove this slide, please. Can you? Yeah, thank you. So having said that, I would also like to say that when you're looking at your research opportunities, which I did not mention, you can look for professors who are in India, who can help you. It could be your school teacher, a mentor who could help you with your research projects, or it could be international professors, global professors of repute who could help you with this entire process. So even EdNet is associated with Lumiere, they're associated with, could you just remove this, please? It's associated with Lumiere, it's associated with IPERC, is associated with CCIR, who are the top professors in Oxford, Cambridge, we have Harvard, we have all the top 30 university professors working on with EdNet to help our students with amazing research opportunities, along with ERIL, which is in-house research. So having said that, I would like to conclude with my session here, and we can now move into Q&A and basically understand from everyone as to what the queries are and how best I can answer them, right? So anyone has any questions? Anyone has any questions?
We had a question from Pragati earlier. She wanted to know about the research thing.
What about the research?
She wanted to know, what are your thoughts on paying to do research work? Does it look like pay to play?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
It's regarding research. It says, what are your thoughts on paying to do research work? Paying up to do research work.
See, the thing is that, as I said, that our students are not used to doing research and they have not done research. It's a pain. It's a gruesome process. And somewhere or the other, if you do not have a mentor or if you do not have a support there, you will fall out, you will drop out. Like, for instance, if you have to have a professor on board, you will have to pay the professor, right? You have to pay people for the time that they're investing in with you to help you in your research. So I think it's not paid research, but I would say paying the professor for his time to help you to conduct research and show you the entire research methodology, so processes. So if you have a good professor or teacher in India who does not charge you and who's ready to help and mentor you, wonderful. But if you do not, and you have the resources to take the help and the support of a professor outside, I don't think there's any harm in it. You will just learn, you just grow in knowledge. It's not something that's going to be deterrent to your application. It'll only be, like, as I said, a cherry on the cake.
Thank you, ma'am. There's another question. It says, would love to get an idea of what sort of competitions can be taken part in for computer science.
For which school? For computer science?
Yes.
The computer science is, okay. So when we talk about computer science, there's a lot of ways. We have a huge list of competitions actually here with EdNet that can really help you on which are the, you can participate in hackathons. You can participate in computer symposiums. You can also look at, there's a very nice, there's a very good competition by the University of Waterloo, which is called the Euclid competition. It's an international level competition. And I think it holds a lot of value. So if you do get a good ranking in it, you can use that competition for, the participation or your in that competition in your application for other universities, because Waterloo is one of the top schools for computer science in the world. You can participate in international Olympiads in informatics. You can participate in congressional app challenges and many more. There are hackathons and things like that. So if you're interested, you can come down and take a list of the university competitions that you would like to participate in. Even when it comes to like a profile of a student going in for computer science, I would say that even when you're doing social work, just don't go and teach math and English, maybe teaching the basics of digital and computer skills to underdeveloped in underdeveloped areas, or maybe to marginalized kids from marginalized sections is a good idea, so sync in your background with your activity, whatever you do. You can do internships in, companies like HCL, or with a company that is doing programming, web development, and all that. So again, as I said, your internship is going directly with your areas of interest. And you can also look at summer school, Plaksha is fantastic. They have a summer school called the Young Technology Scholars. It's a great place to go and spend your 2 or 3 weeks there. You can do a small summer school or a workshop in artificial intelligence, machine learning, by Inspire AI or by Lumiere. Unfortunately, the thing here is whether you take Leadership by Young Leaders program or Learners from Learners, there's so many organizations out there. You don't have to spend so much money for 2 weeks and 1 week. You got to be smart and say, what is it? How much am I putting in and how much am I getting back in return? What is going to be my learning? Is that important for me to do or not important for me to do? Because when the universities are reviewing your applications and they see that, you're participating in this leaders program by Harvard or WILAC or whatever it is, they know that you have paid money. But there are a lot of students out there who are not having that kind of resources and would still want to learn and would let the university know the challenges that they have gone through to learn vis-a-vis just paying. So that is also something that the university very, very closely looks into, right? Attending, reading, interacting, having dialogues is important. Next question.
Pragati had another question. She's asking, what is the best time to join you? What is the best way to spend summers when transitioning from grade 8 to grade 9?
Sorry, could you repeat that, please? The first part was?
What is the best time to join EdNet? And the second question is, what is the best way to spend summers when transitioning from grade 8 to grade 9?
Okay, let me address the first part. So when we talk about when is a good time to join EdNet, I think the good time to join EdNet is in grade 9. But we have to understand that EdNet works very, very differently and uniquely. It handholds its students all through and through. And ninth is a good time for the students to start because they're not going to be serious in grade 9. But activities and profile building and exploring interests can start as early as grade 9, where they could be experimenting. They could be trying out new courses, discarding the ones that they don't like, and moving forward with the ones they enjoy. So grade 9 would be the good time, I would say, to start. And the next part was?
The transitioning from
No.
grade 8 to grade 9.
So transitioning from grade 8 to grade 9, I didn't understand that question. Could you repeat that question again?
So
what do you mean transitioning from grade 8 to grade 9?
They were asking what is the best way to spend summers when the student is transitioning from grade 8 to grade 9. So
How do you plan to spend your summer? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. When you're moving from grade 8 to grade 9, that is your best years, because after grade 9, you have your parents, I won't say putting pressure, but yes, start thinking about your college applications and stuff like that. So when you move from grade 8 to grade 9, I think that's a best time. I would say go for camps, go skiing in Switzerland, go and do those other activities that you really wanted to explore, and I think going for camps is a good idea. Going for camps, summer camps, maybe in India and outside is a good time. And maybe going for summer schools and exploring other areas of interest would also be exciting. Next question.
Thank you, ma'am. Sukriti, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, ma'am. I have a question. I'm a commerce student wanting to do a finance course. How do I build my profile?
You're a science student wanting to do a commerce course. A science student wanting to do a commerce course. Okay, fine. So basically from science, you're planning to move into the field of business at college. Is that correct? Is that correct, Sukriti?
Ma'am, I'm a commerce student and I want to do a finance course. So how do I build my profile?
So you're a commerce student wanting to build your finance course, profile. Okay, fine. So the first thing is 3 areas that you need to take into consideration, okay? Every activity, it could be a competition, you can think about working on. Finance is based on math. Remember that. So any kind of a competition which is related with math is a good idea, like maybe Aryabhatta National Math Olympiad or International Math Olympiad, because to pursue finance, your base in math has to be very strong. Yeah. The second is maybe participating in National Financial Literacy Assessment Test, which is conducted by NCFE. Those are 2 competitions which you can think about. You can also think about doing some online courses in areas of financial markets or introduction to statistics or introduction to finance, virtual currency, Bitcoin, crypto, and things like that. You can also participate in summer schools in India. You can join the Ashoka Young Scholar Program or the Symbiosis Summer School. You can participate in fundraising events. You can tuition the students in NGOs on on how to manage their finances. You can help your household to achieve income sufficiency, you know. So you can even teach your household helps, how to save money, how to invest money, and things like that. So that is some of the things that you can think about doing in fact, when you're moving to finance.
Thank
You
you,
know,
ma'am.
basically what I'm trying to say is anything that you do could be the competitions. The competitions are huge. Finance base is math. Look at all competitions which is pertaining to math. Raisa has a question. Raisa?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to study psychology. How do I build my profile?
See, again, as I said, keep 5 things in mind. When you talk about psychology, I would definitely look at research, you know, because working with a psychologist, working on a research idea and a topic is a good way to move forward. The second thing is the 5 things that I told you, okay? Social work and community service. How will a student of psychology move forward? By being involved in volunteer work, which is taking care of the old and the elderly, mentoring underprivileged sections of the society, working with special kids or kids with disabilities. That is a good thing to work for students coming in from psychology background. You can look at competitions such as you have that junior science and humanities symposiums, you have TOPS competition for high school psychology, internships, you can think about shadowing doctors, shadowing psychiatrists, working in the outpatient psychiatric social, you can work as a social worker at outpatient psychiatric centers. You can also see how you can work in rehab centers. You know, that's also a very good way of moving forward. Do some summer school. There's some fantastic courses, which is there even by Amity University. Think about, you know, there's a course, I think, by Adapting Cognitive Behavioral Therapy to improve access to psychological therapies by the University of Exeter. So a lot of universities offer these short courses in the areas of psychology, but I think it's also a good thing to read some books on psychology, interact with the relevant professionals who will give you insight, learn about what are the future career prospects and opportunities after graduation, after graduating from psychology, right? Every girl whom I come across is fond of understanding human behavior because they have friends, they interact, they counsel their friends, and they think that they're going to be very good psychologists. But psychology is just not restricted to that. Learn about the different areas of psychology. And that can only happen through reading. You should be an avid reader. Do some courses in, as I said, you know, there's a psychological first by John Hopkins, Introduction to Psychology, by Yale University, Social Psychology, wherever. You'll get a lot of courses out there. But taking self-initiative, stepping out of your comfort zone and stretching out to understand what and how psychology, the study of psychology will help me in the future where my goals are concerned is something that you need to really introspect, yeah, on your own. Next question.
There's
Prisha.
a question from Samaira.
Oh, there's one from Prisha. She's got a hand up for a
Yeah,
while.
I'll take her after that. Samaira's put it in the chat box from a long time. She
Okay.
says that she's a science student and she wants to pursue a career in business. How should she work on that?
Okay, from science, she wants to move in business. That's not an issue at all. Remember something, what does science do? Science helps you to develop your strong logical and critical thinking skills, right? That is very, and that can be applied anywhere. So all she has to do is to be involved in activities which demonstrates her interest in the areas of management. So instead of working on areas of science and technology, all her activities, maybe in school, outside the school, can be pertaining to the areas of management. Yeah? So there's a switch. Next question. I just have 2 more questions that I can take up. So what is the next question?
Prisha, you can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I'm interested in arts. So, what are the requirements to get into college?
Oh, so we have an art student here. To get into a top art school, please understand that it is not easy. You know, you really, really have to tap that creative mind, your thought processes, and unleash your imagination. You know, so in order to get into the top schools, you need to be skilled as well as creative. Keep that in mind, how to develop ideas, thought processes, how do you move from concept to the final piece, how you depict, express your ideas on that piece of paper through research is very important. It's a lot of hard work, but yes, that's how you need to do. So skills, research, as well as creativity and imagination is important. Composition is required in each and every artwork that you create. So getting into the top schools, 2 things are very important. First is your portfolio, and the second is your application. So you might create the best of the portfolio, and if your application is not good or is not connecting with your portfolio, you will not get in. And if you have an amazing application, but your portfolio does not match your application, you will not get in. So both have to go hand in hand. In fact, this is for all the students out here. Your applications should match your profile. It cannot be in isolation. So it's like connecting the dots, who you are. Keep that in mind. Next question, my last question for the afternoon today.
I have a question for Brian, from Brian. He is asking that what should he do for masters in VFX or animation or filmmaking?
Sorry, could you repeat that question again?
What should one do for masters in VFX, animation or filmmaking?
You're going to from filmmaking to animation. These are 2 different things. I mean, when you're going into filmmaking, a different kind of a learning and portfolio is required. But if you have to go for animation, it's different. So first of all, he needs to understand what does he want to go for. You see, when a student is going for masters, it's about time that he actually understood what he really wants. If you're unsure about your goals here, it's a good idea to take some time off and get your relevant experiences for you to make better decisions. You don't want to be like animation or filmmaking. If I want to go for animation, it's different to filmmaking. So I have to be very clear, get my professional experience based on animation or based in filmmaking. And even in filmmaking, what am I fond of? Directing, production, script writing, what do I want to do? So a little bit of experience, relevant experience is definitely important before making that decision. And once you have decided whether you want to go for filmmaking or animation, I would love to help you. Please do get in touch with me.
I have a
Okay,
last
great.
question from Anjali.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He says that she's from a middle class family and her parents cannot afford her study abroad thing. So she's looking into for full scholarships in fees and living expenses. So how can she do that?
You know something, getting 100% scholarship is really hard. The only place you can think about applying is to the United States of America, where you can see miracles, okay? So people, my students, some of my students have got 100% scholarship in the past, but it is getting more and more difficult as more and more applications are pouring into the university labs. So when we talk about going and paying the least in a college, for a college experience in a country like the US, your academic grades have to be very strong. You need to show to the university how you have actually challenged and pushed yourself academically, intellectually. You may have done APs, advanced placement. Maybe you've done you've ranked really high in some amazing international competitions or national competitions, which is a matter of repute. You've got some awards and honors and recognitions, which is beyond excellence. So, to get that kind of scholarships and to get that kind of admissions where your fees is going to be less is to really show the university that you are a super kid, number one. Number two is, it's not necessary that you have to get into the AA plus schools. In a country like the US, you have huge number of schools, which is where you have 4,500 schools, and these schools, some of them are, whether you go to an A plus or an A or a B, it does not matter. You can go to a top university, but at the end, who gives you the best opportunity and the best scholarship for you to jumpstart your career, academic career. So just make sure that your profile is strong, your grades are good, you've challenged yourself, and you are able to write that application which demonstrates your strong strengths and your contribution to the university, and you will get in and you will get scholarships. Yeah. And you really don't have to spend so much money in any other activity which demands you to give to spend that kind of money. Your learning can be self-learning. Learning is great. And you can write that in your application as to what are the opportunities you are availed of to grow in knowledge and in skills, and how you have made a significant, maybe impact in your school, right? So there's an opportunity for everyone. Okay, I think we're all done here. Can I have everyone
Hello.
switch on their cameras, please?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, good evening, ma'am.
Okay.
I just have a question. Actually, Rajvi is doing the art classes with you, and she has to get her portfolio done. And in summer, she'll be fully busy with that. So she won't have any time for the
This is
internship.
something very personal. You can come and have a talk with your mentor. This is not the session for it.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I just want everyone to switch on their computers, please. Sorry, not your computers. Switch on your videos, please. I would like to see everyone, and maybe Sadhvi can take a quick picture with all my participants here. It will be great, right? So please do switch on your cameras. I would love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Hello, how are you doing? Soham, nice to see you. Yeah, okay, great. Myra, come on, everyone. Sadhvi, Pranam, Aisha, maybe whoever I can. Please switch on your cameras. So do you think this session had an impact? Did it help you? Was it significant? Was it important? Did it actually help you, understand much more about what to do where your profile building was concerned, and how you can make a difference to your application? What do you think this session was helpful? Yeah. Right. So does anyone think that it could have addressed some other issues? I would love to know more about that too. Does anyone have something to say on that? You're on mute. You're on mute. Okay, great. I believe no one has anything else to say about it. Thank you so much for your participation. I really appreciate it. If there's anything you all want to know more about me or my organization, please do get in touch with us. My number is 98112-98144. The office numbers are 410-13-223-24 and 25. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think two of them had a question for you.
Okay.
Aisha, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Niharika, this was really a very nice session because, from the time when we were in college and we just needed good grades in grade 12 to get into a good college, things have changed so much. And at least for me, it's been 25 years. So I had no idea what is expected of the child, but you broke it down really well. And there are so many components which were also confusing, confused up in my head that now I think it's kind of like, the little, I can understand what the child has to do and of course help her. I wanted to ask you, like, how much time, suppose somebody like Mahira's in grade 12, she's going to be going to grade 12 next month. How much time should they spend on this profile building? Because they also have grade 12 to deal with, right?
It's
So
not how much time they have to spend. Is the question is that, Aisha, how much time they can spend?
Okay.
So I can spend 10 minutes, I can spend 2 hours a week, I can spend 1 hour a week. So you must design her activities in a manner which only requires that 1 hour or 2 hours per week. It's no use overwhelming the child. Yeah. So if I say I can do 2 hours a week, then only do those activities which is 2 hours a week. No need to go crazy. So these are some of the activities which I talked about. You don't have to follow all of them religiously. You just have to pick and choose the one which is important to you, which you feel you would want to do or work on, right? Is that good, Aisha? You're on mute.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, great. So
they don't have to do a research. They don't have to do an internship.
no, they don't. They
Out
don't
of this,
have
they
to
can
do
choose
anything.
what they want to do. Okay.
Yeah, they just have to pick up those activities which is important to them. Aisha. Just don't pick up activities just that sound good in your resume. Pick up activity which she feels very closely connected with, which she would want to do. So
Got
that
it,
would
yeah.
help her to move forward. She will also enjoy the process. She'll enjoy the journey. She will learn so much about herself. She'll learn to experiment. So make this into a happy thing, instead of like a forced kind of a situation. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We just have one last question from Brian.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it was really good. The whole portfolio building, was explained beautifully, structured beautifully. So, actually, this is for my son. And the question I had asked was, he's interested in doing a master's in VFX. He's already made his first short film. And he's in second year degree college doing mass media and communication. So how should he proceed with?
So when he's going in for something like animation, he needs to make a portfolio. So two things are very important. As I said to you earlier, you must create his LinkedIn account. You must create his social media account, Instagram account, number one. Number two, all his projects, all the work that he has done, either he can upload it in sites such as Behance. Yeah, that's the place where he can upload his work. The second thing is that work experience is very important. His portfolio, his work experience are the two areas that he must look upon very, very closely. And what about his background, his learning? How has he enhanced his skills and knowledge? Maybe learning more on the side to keep himself updated with what is happening, because this is technology. New things keep coming up. Something that a portfolio which was very relevant last year may not be so relevant this year because something new has come up, right? So he has to be constantly upgrading himself in his area of work by doing courses, short courses, 1 week, 2 weeks, so that, and he does those courses and he applies those courses in his portfolio, His portfolio, we should talk about it. And of course, his work experience and his LinkedIn account, his social media account, his Behance account, where he's uploading all his work.
Thank you. And can we connect with you in person for further support and help and with Net as
yeah.
well?
So
Okay,
you
sure.
can get in touch with our office. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Next question. I'm done. Am I done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you all so much once again for participating in my profile building class. I look forward to spending for many more sessions such as this, which will be helpful to all mothers and students and parents and fathers too. Not to be anxious, to relax, just have a strategy, have a plan, and just move forward accordingly. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the lovely session, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye.